For nearly 2 years, we've been talking to presidential candidates, their surrogates, their supporters, to try to gauge what's going to happen here in Iowa. But we're done with that because the Iowa caucus results are just around the corner. But there are two candidates who have lower stakes here in Iowa, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. So Holly, you cover Bernie for us. We are outside of a concert that Bernie's throwing here in Iowa. Where does he stand right now in the polls and what's going to happen here?
He's first in Iowa right now, but Joe Biden is just a few points behind him, and then Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg are a few points behind Biden. So it's a really, really close race. When I talk to people here, even at Bernie Sanders events, they say it feels on the ground like a four-way tie in Iowa.
For the last couple of months, it feels like Bernie has been kind of on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, I think it took a lot of established Democrats by surprise. But yeah, I mean, since his heart attack, coincidentally, he really has been on this run of good news. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez endorsed him, then other progressive leaders lined up behind him. Then, his poll numbers started going up as well. And so he is surging right now. I mean, if you look at the poll numbers, one, I think that he is bringing back some of his past support that had went to Elizabeth Warren. And a lot of these people were 2016 Sanders supporters. I think what's happening now is they're coming back home to Bernie. And so when you look at the polls, it shows this as well. She had been leading with young voters. Now he's back to leading with them. She had been leading with liberal voters. Now he's back to leading with liberal voters.
It feels like the stakes are a little lower for Bernie Sanders a little bit.
A little bit. For Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, they don't need to win Iowa to keep campaigning, right? In the same way that Pete Buttigieg needs to perform really well in Iowa. Amy Klobuchar needs to get a third place showing or something in order to keep going. Sanders doesn't need that, neither does Biden. However, because Sanders is first place now in most of the polls in Iowa, there's an expectations game that's rising right now. A lot of people think he can win. There was a DC insider that was saying to me that basically, the real story is going to be who gets second place, right?
Vice President Joe Biden's kind of in the same boat. So I met up with Natasha Korecki. She covers Biden for us to see how his campaign is feeling about this.
Where does he kind of stand in the polls in Iowa right now?
He is right at the top, or he and Bernie are trading for the top, depending on which poll you look at. Yeah, it changes every day, but that has been consistent, actually, in the last couple weeks. Yeah. And poll after poll shows the same thing, which is the number one issue for Iowa voters is that they want someone who can beat Trump. That's what they want.
And so it doesn't seem like he has to win in Iowa. Is that true?
It is kind of true for Biden, yes. And there's lots of different ways to look at that question, because what is winning in Iowa, especially this time around, when you're going to have different results. Yeah. We're going to know the raw vote total. We're going to know what the state delegate equivalent is. So different kinds of metrics you can point to and say you won. Yeah. But for Biden, he has long managed expectations in Iowa and said, we don't need to win Iowa because we do so well with minority voters in Nevada and South Carolina. But if he gets crushed here, and it's already looking like New Hampshire is not good for him, and it's 2 states in a row.
Because it starts to build a narrative.
Yes,
not winning.
It could. Yeah. It could. That part is dangerous, and I think the Biden campaign has recognized that, and that is why he has shifted a lot of money out of New Hampshire into Iowa.